Good evening, everyone. My name is Mazes. Okay, I welcome you to this evening Friday hangout here. It's going to be an interesting conversation with someone many of you may know, and many may not know him, but he's someone that I think that is creating impact in the Nigerian content creation landscape. Not only with his content, but the message that is contained therein. Now, without further ado, I have here with me in the studio. For those of you who are joining me for the first time, welcome. I say to you, for those who are coming back, I say this is our Friday Hangout. As usual, for this Friday Hangout, please endeavor to get something to drink, as it is customary here. Let me quickly, before we continue, bring in here my guest this evening. Here, I have with me Dan Bello, as he calls himself, but I know that's his stage name. Brother, you are welcome.
Thank you very much. How are you doing today, sir?
I am very well. I can see you guys are on the way. You guys are driving. So how is
Yes,
it? The last time we spoke, you were somewhere outside the continent, but it appears you are back here, right?
that's right. I happened to just hop on a plane, come down here to get a few things done, and just got to keep grinding.
Okay. So you came to charge your phone, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. Let's quickly do this, Dambello. Would you mind sharing with us your name and why you choose the stage name Dambello to do what you do?
All right. My first name is Bello, Bello, and my last name is Galadenchi, which is
Mm,
the name of a place in Kano City in northern Nigeria. But Dambello means like the son of Bello. Usually, I would have a character which is a baby or a small boy that interacts with the father, and that usually will be called like Dan Bello, the son of Bello, and people
okay.
love that name, so I just went with it.
Okay. So what informs what you're doing? Because I think about I think after the election was the first time I came across your content.
Yes.
And you are the first person because my Hausa is not that obviously haven't left the speaking of the language for a very long time. It's not that great, but your content is one of the contents that I post a lot. I post to read, and you do an excellent job by translating whatever you are communicating across. You push it out there, you write it down for people to read. So,
Thank
what
you.
informs that type of content that I call one man show?
Well, there are several factors. The first is, a desire to create some kind of socio-political change in Nigeria, because Nigeria is a very rich country culturally, just rich in almost every aspect. But we can see that there are a lot of things that do not work properly. And,
Mm.
I've been to more than 20 countries around the world, and Nigeria is one of them.
I think your signal dropped there, but can you hear me now? Hold on. For some reason, I no longer hear you. I think something may have happened there. Okay, let's do it this way. Can you? Okay, quickly. Thanks. Yeah, that's what I want to suggest. Can you go out and come back in, please? So while we do that, let me share some of his content. Okay,
Okay. All right, can you hear me now?
you're back. Yes, I
Okay,
can hear
great.
you. I can hear you back.
All right, wonderful.
So go
So as
ahead.
I was saying, since when I was a kid, I was really concerned about the situation of Nigeria. My parents told me one of the first uh, drawings I did was of a gas station, a petrol station, with a very long queue of cars waiting to buy petrol. So that was me when I was a kid, and that tells you that Nigerian problems have been things that bothered me all my life. And recently, I was able to learn how to make videos and also learn journalism. So when you put the two together, it's easier to kind of capture different scenarios of the problems that we're facing and help people understand these things in much simpler way. I think that's the inspiration, and that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing today.
Okay. So I hope you're still there. You can still hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. So now, if I come back to what you do, how come you work alone or you have a team? How come you produce every single day you drop a video? How do you do that?
I work alone. It's already a routine, right? When you wake
Hmm.
up, you gotta brush your teeth. You gotta make breakfast. You gotta get to work at a certain time, and I have a timetable. I have a schedule that I have to keep up to, and making videos is also part of it. There's got to be something to do,
Mm.
and it's about 2.5 hours per day for a video.
For,
Nigerian problems
for
are
a
a
minute
lot.
video, for a minute video,
Pardon?
right? For 1 minute video, you'd spend about 2.5 hours.
Yes, 2.5 hours for about a minute of a video.
Mm. Okay.
And there are a lot of problems in Nigeria, and if we really want to fix it, we got to work hard. We have to have a great work ethic, and I believe that I should work twice as hard just to even point out the problems if we really need to move our country forward. And I think that also is a motivation and a burning desire inside my mind to inspire others to work hard so that we can really put our country back on track.
Okay. That is really, really commendable. Now, in all the
Thank
videos that you've been making, I'll quickly share some of your videos probably shortly. But I just want to
Yes.
understand in all the videos that you've been making, which of that video has been the most controversial?
The most controversial. Oh, there was one about a guy wearing like a head wig, wearing an
Yeah,
Arsenal shirt, and two people knocked on his door. The first
yeah.
one said it's Morja, and he was like, "Yeah, come in." And then the second one said it's Malam, and he was like, "Hey, I'm not here." And then he's telling the girl like, "Hey, go hide," you know, wear your this, wear your that. That was very, very controversial because many people assumed that that was depicting a governor. And in Nigeria, the governors do have a huge supporting base. So they really came out with all their weapons. They were really angry. Eventually, I had to take it down, even though that's not what I was referring to. But it was interesting to see how people reacted to something like that. You know.
Okay. Are you there? So everyone, sorry for that breaking transmission. My guest will soon join me, please, and we can continue this conversation. So as he was saying that he obviously, drawn his inspiration since he's been a kid. He grew up in Kano, and that it's not been easy. So let's quickly wait and see if he can join us back in here. It's been a great it's been a great conversation to have him join us. Honestly, it's been a very very um it's someone that I've been I must confess is one of those few people that I follow on the social media. Let me quickly message him again. I think because he's on the way and his connection obviously it's playing up, but you know it's good that he comes back. So I've just asked him to rejoin us if he finds network. But what I'm going to do is to play some of his work so that some of us who don't know him would understand um, the type of work and the reason why I've decided to reach out to him and to have him come here and have this conversation with us here. Let me pull up some of his work here. He does amazing. When I say amazing, really amazing work. Now, if you look here, let me quickly bring that down screen. If you look here, you will see one of his work here. This is the guy in question, right? Look at this. Okay. Um, which he comes. I hope you know. I hope. I hope some of us watching that video understood the content. What the young man is trying to say here is this is someone who is hungry going to someone from the House of Rep to say, please, can you help? And he said, well, we've slashed our salary. And you can see as small as that cup is, he just threw some splash of water to the ground, but goes back to where the real deal is, where he has his allowances, which is still in a bigger bowl, untouched. That is the type of content. Okay, Bello, thank you very much. Are you there? Okay. Okay, I can see that because you're on the way, it appears something happened along the line, so the connection went off, right? Oh, sorry, I can't hear you. Hold on. Can you talk again? I can't hear you. No. You may have to, if you don't mind. Sorry about that. You may have to go out and come in again. Let's discuss some of your videos. Okay, let's try again. Can you say something? Okay. So he's gone out and hopefully he's going to come back again. And one of the videos, like I was asking, which is his video. Look at this here. This is is here he is asking Nigerians, who is this? So I don't know, people. Who do you think this is? Right? Can you take a guess who that is? When he comes in, he can tell us who this individual is. I can tell you the guy is good. In what he does, he is good. Right? He's good in what he does. Once more, this is a Friday. Okay, so we have you back in. I know you on the way, but we back. We now have you back in Bello. But yeah, the network is really honestly not the best today from your end, but we hope it's gonna get better. So let me quickly get another video. This is, you know, my one of my best video of him. It's always easy whenever I hear Jara, 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 I know Bello is on the throne. So let's see and let's hear this.
Ya za a ce ina badakala da kuɗi na cikin alheri dumu-dumu a ce gwamnoni su ma suna irin wannan badakala. Ai sai su tara kuɗin da za su iya zuwa su ma ci takarar shugaban kasa. Saboda haka so nake a ba ƙananan hukumomi cin gashin kansu.
To ai ni ban ji alat ba.
Gashi nan.
Alkur'an ya shigo. Hello?
Your Excellency Gwamna. Chairman ɗin ƙaramin hukuma ne.
Chairman.
Alat ɗin nan ya shigo yanzu ya za a yi da shi.
To. Ai ko yanzu ni ma ka turo min nawa alat din.
An gama Your Excellency.
Gwamna na da kariya chairman ba shi da shi. Za mu sha jarmiya.
Jira. Kai ka ɗauki kuɗi duk ka miƙa wa gwamna to wanda za mu raba mu kuma ba.
Kai Najeriya kake ban son hauka.
To ai ka ji kuma ba.
Kai ka san halin waɗannan gwamnonin kuwa? Ya za a ce
Oh, that he is good in what he's good in what he does. And like I asked him every single day, this young man drops video. Single-handedly, he drops a video every single day, right? That is unbelievable of what he does. One of those videos that he really did that I found so funny was one he did with okay, he's joined back again. So
Yes.
Bello, you're back. Okay.
Yes, I'm back.
So yes, well, we're talking about one of the videos that you said was your best, the one you done with a Jesse and somewhat a lady hiding behind. So
Yes, a lady hiding. It was very controversial.
Was that given a religious connotation or what?
No, it was more about like some kind of cultural and moral dilemma, I guess. People had their own kind of translation for it because sometimes the message is very vague. You make meaning out of it, but here the supporters of the governor assumed that character was him and the lady was somebody that he might be doing something with. So that was what caused the uproar.
Have you ever received threats based on what you do?
Oh yes, there are so many threats. There are a lot of young people who are not very educated, and they really don't know that threatening can be a very big offense. So they just yell it out or they write things that they shouldn't every once in a while. But because I know that they just bluffing, so I never really paid much attention to it.
Okay, I must say that in all the videos that I've been watching, I found this particular one very, very interesting. Let's watch it and you tell me what informed this video.
Your Excellency. Ba ka yi kunka kofa ba ne? Sorry, Your Excellency, akwai matsala fa. To me? Yan arewa da yan kudu maso gabas sun fara haɗe kai domin gazawar ka. Ba mun riga mun raba kansu ba? Ina aiki ya da baya sun gano mu ne matsalar. Na ɗauka da muke nuna tsana da kyamar Igbo su ma haka za su kwaikwaya. Ina ayin sun yi dama gwa Buhari baya kuma sun fahimci cewa ka fi shi illa. Amma su ba Igbo bane. Yan arewa ne. I need more flour. Sorry, boss. Jira. To yanzu suke su ce ni shugaban Tenuwa dai ne kawai. Kai sa ake nan ba. Me kace? A ban ce komai ba. Yanzu me za a yi? Yanzu sai a sauri a tura musu Reno Agbado zombie area boys namu.
You know why I'm laughing? I'm laughing and I'm wondering. After you released this video, so DSS did not invite you.
No, nothing.
So what informed this particular video?
Well, the video before that one was about while the Kenyans are waking up, Nigerians are still sleeping.
Yeah.
So it was, about the Kenyan uprising while Nigerians are still like docile and all of that. And that was the first time a lot of those Ronu Agbado zombie area boys just went on like a rampage, It was the first time they were trying to attack me, and they made a stupid mistake because you don't attack skit makers. That's like a fool. Like we love that. That's like something that just makes us excited. So they attacked me. They said that I was a supporter of Buhari. I'm a tribalist and all of that. And usually for Mr. Blabulu, I often criticize his policies. I never went personal. So I decided, you know what? If they're gonna come this way, okay, two can play the game. So I said, let's just go a little bit more personal on him and what is he accused of? What kind of things do they really don't like hearing? How can I just break their morale? And I put together all that information and made this video. And guess what? Since then, they never came back.
So the powder video was a knockout because there,
What the part of video was?
the powder video was a knockout to them. That's what you meant.
Yes, it was a knockout. It was designed to be that way, and there was also a follow up, but it was like if they didn't go all the way down, I could throw the follow up, but then that one they didn't respond, so I was like, okay, there's no need to beat somebody who's already down. So I never made that the next video.
Okay, so now in you have been very vocal. I want us to talk about this. You've been very vocal when it concerns
Yes.
young Nigerians protesting since the
Yes.
Kenyan protest. You've been very vocal of those young Nigerians calling for Nigerians to protest and this and that. And I've read where they attack you and say, during the Buhari era, were you doing all this? Did you ever call for a protest? Why now? Why now are you calling for protest? Is it because a Southerner is on the throne, or And what do you have to say in these, accusations?
Gano wata hanya da zai farfado da tattalin arziki ya saka kudade a cikin aljihunanku sannan ya dawo da walwala da farin cikin 'yan Najeriya. Ministoci kun shirya?
sir.
Gwamnoni kun shirya?
Yeah.
On your marks, get set, ready, go! Yo,
Oh, one of the depictions that really cracks me up is the chain that he has. I mean, I wish he comes back again. Let me actually ask him why he has this chain on his head. Like, if you look here, you can see that he has, whenever he's
yanzu kuma za mu fara ciran harajin addini musulmai kowane wata ya biya naira 100 krista kuma naira 50 kar a manta da namu kasan jira me yasa namu yafi yawa amma mu sau ɗaya muke zuwa coci a mako ku kuma da kuke zuwa masallaci sau 5 a rana fa da ma naira 10 za mu ringa biya da yafi ko kuma ku ringa biyan 500 kuma kai a ganin ka haka an yi adalci saboda kun biya kuma kuke tsotse tattalin arzikin da allocation din ba tare da kawo wani gudunmawa ga tattalin arzikin kasa ba wannan nuna kyama ne da cin mutunci ba mu da tattalin arziki da ayyukan da
Anyway, I hope okay, he's back. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, honestly, the network is really
Yes, it's not stable at all. It's a little troublesome today.
okay. So let's quickly see what we can get out of this conversation. Now,
Okay.
whenever I see you depict this character, you always have a handkerchief on your head. So why do you do that?
There's always
Why
a
do
what?
There is always a handcuff on your cap.
Yes.
Why do you do that?
Yes. Yes. I feel like the current administration is a little bit tying people's hands when economically, mentally, spiritually, physically. People who used to drive cars now don't because fuel is so expensive. People who can eat rice now eat corn because rice is more expensive. You can see that people have been impersonated from this administration, from the policies. And I think the handcuffs does represent that impersonation, and at the same time, it looks very similar to the logo that you can see on a certain hat that is called a Milokan.
Yeah.
So I think it does perfectly kind of represent that in a comical way, and that's why I have that on there.
Okay. Let's go political a little bit. In the last election, who did you vote in that election?
I've never voted in Nigeria. Since when I graduated, I was a journalist. I've never been partisan. I've never had a side. And to be honest, I really don't think the kind of democracy we're doing in Nigeria is what fits our our country and our people, and our history and our ways of life. I really don't think that kind of Western style of democracy is very
Oh, I think
perfect. Never even
no, go ahead. You're back. Oh, you're off again. You're off again. Anyway, that's honestly, you know, okay, he's back again. Sorry. Sorry, you cut off somewhat. You said that that style of governance is not suitable for Nigeria. Oh, you're frozen again. You're making an argument that democracy is not suitable for Nigeria.
this Western style of democracy might not be the most suitable for our country, because we do have we have our own uh,
Okay, it's making it increasingly very difficult to engage in these conversations. If he comes back again, I may have to ask him about the planned protest that appears to be spearheaded by the Northern Youth now. Okay, let's see. So we can hear you now. Before, in case this goes off again, let me quickly ask you one question. Now,
okay.
why these, these protest that is being planned by, appears to be planned by and spearheaded by Northern Youth? Is it as a result of copycat, you know, mentality that has spun over from the Kenyan protest, or are people really suffering the way you want people to believe, to the point that
People
people have?
are suffering. Sorry,
But,
I didn't
but
allow you to finish the question,
okay,
because people are suffering. I see it with my own eyes here, even right now as I'm looking around. People are eating grass. Do you understand? That's how poor people are. People are eating grass. I will send you a video if you want, of kids just gathering grass to go and eat. People are suffering and they are so frustrated. So it came at a time when
but
people have been fed up.
is it the making of Tinubu, or wasn't that caused by Buhari actually?
Well, Buhari started it, and then the policies of Tinubu kind of escalated it with the dollar price, with the dollar, what do you call it, the dollar value, and the removing of the fuel subsidy. Things just went out of control in a year, and
Yeah.
it's really affecting everybody, even the wealthy people around here, because now everywhere you go, there's a lot of children and women just begging for anything, begging for food, begging for money. The poverty is a little scary here.
Mm.
Yeah, so people are really on the wall, and I think even without the Kenyan protest and without anything, they probably are gonna start something soon. The
Okay.
frustration and the tension is so unbearable. It's really sad. My heart breaks whenever I'm out, just to see young kids and women just suffering. To be honest.
But people are saying that this protest is planned, but the Kenyan protest was not. It was as a result of something. But this one has been in the plan, and there is this accusation that some northern political class
Mm.
are the ones sponsoring people to come out on the street because they believe they are they are losing out to the clandestine way Tinubu is handling some things, which is a replication of what Buhari did. So it's a question of, before it was Fulanization, quote unquote. Now it is Yorubanization. So some people will say, well, it's do me, I do you. Whoever goes in, he continues where the other stops.
Yes. So the planning and actually the frustration and desperation of people is the coincidence. People are already desperate, they're already at the brink, and then there was a plan, and that just really helped a lot of people voice out that they really want to be part of it, if that makes sense. So
Yes.
yeah, people, especially here in the north, people really can endure a lot, and people like to be patient, and no one wants to be the first person to, like, go out and say, "Oh, I have a problem." People like to just hold back. Just a few days ago, a woman came and left three of her children with a fruit seller. She said, "Oh, I'm coming back in a second. I'm gonna use the bathroom," and she never came back because they don't have anything to eat, and they were so hungry. So she didn't go out screaming. She just
Okay.
Mazi.
Yes, I can see you
Yeah.
now. Go ahead.
Okay.
Continue.
Did you hear my answer?
Yes, I heard what you said. The
Okay.
last thing we heard was when a woman that dropped her her babies
Children.
and her children and left. Now the question
Yes.
that many would ask is, during the
Yes.
time of answers, because I'm asking you the questions. Obviously, you read these
Absolutely.
questions.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. No, you can ask those questions.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, you read these things on Twitter Spaces as well, where this division comes in, and people are saying, I mean,
Yes.
some of the time, I think the last time I joined one of the spaces where you participated as well, I can hear people
Mm-hmm.
saying, well, the last time the youth tried protesting, the northern youth told them that it was haram. The question is, what has changed? Why is this
Okay.
protest no longer haram?
Yeah, it's not a change. So let me give you a good picture of what happened, right? So there's a big rift and difference between the North and the South. Here in the North, not a lot of people know SARS because we do not have them operating here. The kind of issues that SARS do handle in usually the southern part of the country are not very much here, so we don't know them. Even I personally, I never knew about SARS until the NSARS protest. So we really don't know what it is, so we couldn't, we cannot relate, and so we couldn't get part of it. That's one answer. And then the second answer is, when the SARS thing came out here in the north, some people wanted to join, but we have some youth who are very close to the government, and they are the influencers. So the government wanted to create some kind of divide strategy. So they got those youth and told them, look, this NSAS protest is organized by terrorists. These are people who don't like Nigeria, who don't like what you have. So you should protest against them. And those are the ones who are, like, protesting for the Nigerian government, and created like some kind of feeling here in the north that the people protesting against for NSARS are not good people for Nigeria. So the fact that we don't know what SARS is, it really did help for us to kind of think that NSARS protest is not a very good thing. We just didn't know, and the government played a good role in kind of helping that propaganda. And now something like that will almost happen, because there is a group of influential young northerners who are really pushing and for an agenda that is painting this government well, and it's saying it's doing well, and this protest is something that this protest people are planning is something that is not good, and it's planned by some kind of mischievous elements. And we kept telling them, like, look, these are your brothers, your sisters. People are dying, and they really want to voice out their frustration. So you shouldn't be collecting money from the government and doing PR for them. We think it's evil. So that's what changed. I hope that really paints a good picture for you, sir.
No, it does, and I hope that you guys, the younger ones, that you've been able to convince your counterpart, the Gen Z, that the reason why the other part didn't take part was because they didn't understand. that it wasn't because now what we see is north-south divide. I mean, that is the clear issue. When people are saying, okay, we wait, when they start, we'll join. Now, the question is, I mean, that's actually what a lot of, because when I hear people saying we're going to start on the 29th, some say on the 1st. So which day is actually the protest going to start? And today, I've heard some northern House of Assemblymen saying that nobody should join, that they are doing a lot, hence they quickly went in to approve 70,000 naira at minimum wage, trying to dilute the feeling of the young ones. Because
Yes, yes,
obviously,
yes.
if they still at the end of the day does not hit the street, there is no hope. So do you think that
No, they
if
will hit the street. It's gonna happen. Everybody is ready here. I'm here in the north. Everybody, it's gonna happen. People are ready.
really,
People are ready. Yeah.
how long do you think they will be able to sustain it?
I don't know, but people are ready, and they're not ready for just media or for fake reasons. They are ready for themselves. People are frustrated. People are hungry. People don't have jobs. People really want to see change, and even some of the authorities. When I landed, I met an immigration officer, and I asked him, "Are you doing?" He's like, "Yes, I want to, but because I'm wearing this uniform, I cannot go out." I also asked my boss, and my boss was hoping that it's gonna happen because even though we work for the immigration, we still suffer from these policies. So it's gonna happen. Even I talked with some police officers, and they said, "Yeah, we already know that it's imminent. It's gonna happen. We just want to make sure that nothing goes wrong." So that's the
Not
situation right now.
well. Normally, Nigerian youth have proven that they can actually conduct themselves and do peaceful protest. But whenever protest goes violent, 99% of the time is normally government induced. We saw it during the NSAS in Abuja when protesters' cars were, being destroyed. I mean, in day, when they went into the car repair shop and burnt it, we saw DSS vehicles, bringing people, some, people from somewhere with clubbers, moving them around to destroy properties. It was government. In Lagos, when they used the BRT bus to bring people to come and destroy stuff, come with machete. Their faces were there. So, are there things the young Nigerians are planning to do in order to checkmate the excesses of government turning the planned peaceful protest by them into violence? Are there anything you guys are doing to ensure that that doesn't happen?
Well, I'm not one of the organizers, so I don't know the measures. But I could. I've read comments of people saying, if we see anybody trying to do something wrong, we must handle them by ourselves. We must do something about it. We shouldn't let anybody hijack this. But what I've been telling everybody is, I'm a school teacher, and one of my job is to make sure that my kids are in line whenever we're going out for like a project or excursion or field trip. They are in their best behavior. Everybody follows the rules. Just 20 kids, but there's always one or two kids who will break those rules. It happens all the time. So something probably will go wrong. I hope not. But if it does happen, it's expected because there's, no way that lots of people are gonna go out and everybody is, trying to behave well. It's almost, part of human nature. What I always tell people is, do not create policies that is going to force people to go out if you don't want any destruction. Just have good policies, really help people, create jobs, work on education, focus on the right things, and people don't have to go out and destroy properties.
So
That's just the underlining.
if we move away from the federal government, and obviously you are in Kano
Yes.
now, do people also feel anger towards the Kano state government, or do they think, well, the government of Kano is doing everything right? It's only the federal government that is not getting it right?
It's different. You know, the people of Kano feel different about Kano state government, and people of Katsina feel different. It's very different because it depends on how their relationship is with the government and what the government is doing.
So
But for the general situation, people can differentiate between the policies that are created by the federal government and the policies that are created from the state government. And people really believe that, you know, the dollar value went up, the removing of the fuel subsidy, those two major things are policies from the federal government. So most of the anger is directed towards that government, even though, yes, the Kano state government here is very clueless and very slow, and everyone thinks it's one of the worst governments that we've ever had, you know, in this state. But people are not paying much attention to it because the main reasons for the hardship is from, you know, removing the fuel subsidy and you know, letting the dollar price just go crazy.
so the dollar price and you know the dollar price and the fuel price is actually, if I understand very well, that is the main reason why the people are protesting. But again, we've seen that you know, they've told us today that
Yes.
Dangote is actually producing
By the way,
inferior
Mazi, my
petrol.
phone has only 1%, so it might die any
Oh,
time from now.
okay. So
Yes.
I leave it at that. Before I let you go, and
Mm.
I say thank you very much for you know, for joining me. I know it's very difficult
Thank
time. I
you
hope
so much.
I hope
Please, I owe you another interview because today's
yeah,
interview just everything went wrong. So
yeah.
please, you can ask me for another interview, and I will make sure it's gonna be very perfect. Okay?
Thank you very much for joining me. Okay.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
and have a
much. Thank you.
wonderful day. So guys, that's been Bellow, who joined me from Kano State. You know, he's a young man, one of the Gen Zs who creates lots of content on the Twitter space. Now, on part of my conversation this evening, I wanted to ask him before he mentioned that his internet is sorry, his telephone is about to die. I wanted to look at the brouhaha regarding Ali Ndume's suspension. Earlier in the week, Ali Ndume made some allegations that had warranted his suspension from the Senate. Oh, sorry, not from the Senate. He's the committee. Sorry, he was the. I will call him was the chief whip. He's no longer the chief whip because that position he has been relieved of it. I wanted to know what he thinks. Now let's, you know, this is the Friday hangout. Let's go back. Let's start from the beginning. What led to Ali Ndume's suspension? Let's listen to this. Now, Ali Ndume made these allegations on a national TV. Here, he said that kakistocrats are those, obviously, this is the dictionary definition here. He called the Tinubu-led administration as a people that his government is run by the worst, the least qualified, or the most unscrupulous citizens. The worst was coined as early as 17th century. Now, this is kakistocracy, has nothing to do with military leadership, but it has everything to do with the worst within the society leading the best. So that's what he said. Okay.
Least qualified and most unscrupulous citizens. I'm not the first one that says.
Right.
Government is populated by kakistocrats and kleptocrats.
Right, okay. Kleptocrat.
Yes.
People who are members of the kleptocracy.
So now, again, two words used here that really got the Senate angry. Kleptocrats, referred to as thiefocracy. Me, I call them the politicians. Thief, politicians. Politihiev shams, right? Thieves, plural. This is a government whose corrupt leaders use whatever power to expropriate wealth of the people and land. They govern typically by embezzling or misappropriating government fund at the expense of the wider population. They got angry. As a result of this, they suspended Ali Ndume for saying the following, that these guys are thieves, basically. The two words, kakistocrats, kleptocrats, both of them joined together. In our street language in Nigeria, the only way you can understand them is to say bunch of oles, bunch of ndioshi, bunch of barawos. In pidgin English, it's a bunch of thieves. This is what they are.
Yeah,
Who are basically dipping
in
their hands
government
into the till
to make
all the time.
government for what they can make for
Right,
themselves.
okay.
People, it is a... Okay, so this is one of the videos that I made about this, but you can go back and watch that video if you so wish. Now, this is on that. After he was removed as the chief whip, he also insisted that no matter what, that he is not backing down.
Gentlemen of the...
He is right. Today, he also granted another press conference, sticking to his gun, that he has reflected on what he said. There is not, I mean, he hasn't said anything wrong. People, now let me tell you, let's get the comment section busy. Do you agree with Ali Ndume or not? We are buying an aeroplane, 150 billion, right? Who approved it? When was the supplementary budget submitted? When was it appropriated? When was it debated? Presidential air fleet, 9 in numbers. Yes. Oh, there are some they need to be repaired. Blah blah blah, and we're buying more. What stops us from selling 5, 6 of them and use the money we'll get from that to buy a more modern one? No, we couldn't. So in the National Assembly, all you hear them, Abio was saying, oh, that means he's calling out Steve, that if somebody goes into somebody's house and when he comes out, something might miss. No, it's not about somebody's house, but our national treasury. If they are not thieves, why are you appropriating 160 million for one single car to buy? 160 million, one car, one vehicle. Whereas you can get 35 million, 40 million marks from the local market manufactured by IVM Innocent or NORD or Gili or what's it called? The other one, the Mikano one, right? Or GAC. These are made in Nigeria, assembled in Nigerian cars. No, but they want the other. I mean, one of them, thank God, is not even within the opposition. He is within the the president's party, and he's calling them what they are. And hear him out this evening, as he said he's not backing down on what he said.
Press, good morning. In reaction to what has happened to me, I reviewed several times, from beginning to the end, the interview I granted. I also shared the interview I granted to friends, elders, leaders in this country to review and get back to me to tell me whether I have said anything that is not true or that is wrong in that interview. And unanimously, the people I shared with, and my conviction too, tells me that I did not do anything wrong. I did not say anything wrong. And therefore, I want to state that I stand by all my statements in the interview I granted. Secondly, the party that recommended to the Senate that I should be removed from being the chief whip of the Senate, I take that as an act of God, because if it is God that gave me that position, it is God that took it through APC, so I bear no grudges about that. After all, I did not contest to be the chief whip. I did not contest to be the vice chairman of appropriation committee. I contested to be the one of the senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And alhamdulillah, God granted me that victory. And I'm happy with God, what God has given to me. This morning, I shared with you, I am an ardent follower, historical follower of a former famous American President Theodore Roosevelt. I want you to state or the quote that I say, but briefly, it says, it is unpatriotic to stand by the president in whatever he does. It is patriotic to speak the truth to not only the president, but anybody for that matter. It is unpatriotic not to speak the truth to power or to anybody, and I still stand by that. In doing so, it is also known that in Hausa, let me put it in Hausa, that Allah yana tare da mai gaskiya, that God is always with the person that speaks the truth. So I know that I'm not wrong, the people are not wrong by speaking the truth and standing by the truth. And I pray that the president, who's now...
Okay, so that is it. Obviously, he's sticking to his gun. By this interview, we do not know what's going to happen on Monday. They may want to bring him back. They may want to do whatever they wish to do to him. But again, one thing is very clear. Someone one time said, if you speak the truth, you die. If you don't speak the truth, you die. Kukuma make I speak the truth, make I die. I hope this has been, this is for him the measure of him being born again now. This is a new him. Hopefully, that and again, some of us are saying, unless some of them know what some of us don't know, because some people are saying maybe they know that the protest that is going, that appears to be planned at the moment, that it could be that he is aware and trying to play to the gallery so that the young ones will see him worthy as one of those who spoke out when it mattered. On another plank here, there appears to be a war of words between two eminent Nigerian. No, I would say two. The one is not eminent, I beg. Between Dele, Momodu, Dr. Doyin Okupke, and Reni Omokiri. Yesterday, many of you may be aware, I don't know, may not as well. Dele Momodu wrote an open letter to Ahmed Bola Tinubu, and in that letter, let me find the letter actually. The letter was yesterday. Sorry, that was Momodu's response to Reno that I had there. That's the wrong one. Let me quickly grab the right letter here. So that is it here. He titled it "Urgent Message for President Tinubu. Your Excellency, sir, I have decided to write this open letter to you as a concerned friend and brother. As you are aware, I'm a member of the opposition, but you and I have had a long history together. I owe you only one thing: truth. It is very obvious that the first thing that takes flight in the presidential villa is truth. The reason is simple. Some Nigerians are expert in hijacking men and women in power. The designification process is often swift and irreversible. I am writing to you today, not because I expect you to act on my suggestions, but to put it on record that someone gave you the true picture of things. I am also hoping that some of your friends will read and interpret to you in a sober moment. When I read this part in a sober moment, with ding, 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 ding. I laughed. I'm not saying something. I'm not insinuating. I don't know whether he's insinuating that someone is not sober. Maybe when he comes off something and becomes sober, then or what? That's what I'm insinuating here. Take note. But he continued. Nigeria is in big trouble. Our economy has virtually collapsed. And what's the way out? He asked. You've been wasting too much money at a time that requires absolute frugality. Please stop. Stop this reckless propensity for wasting scarce resources. Purchasing presidential jets, building outlandish monuments, distributing cash as palliatives, etc., are signs of a failed and a careless government. If you don't curb the excessive spending of your government, you will, you will free up a lot of resources for development. I agree. If you can curb the excessive spending, Mr. President, you can free up some. I totally agree with him on that. Then he goes on the second point. I believe you are filtering away our resources because you desperately care for a second term. But the best assurance of a second term is performance. Nigerians are not expecting you to turn water into wine, but they don't want you to turn wine into water. Here are my tips. Invest in vocational trainings for our highly talented youth who can demonstrate their capacity for hard work. Invest heavily in education, in local agriculture, upgrade our institution of learning, give cash to politicians to distribute is unhealthy. That is giving cash to politicians to distribute is very unhealthy and unhelpful. It is the height of cluelessness. Ooh, the words used on Jonathan and Buhari is creeping in. Lastly and thirdly, in the name of God, beware of hero worshippers at the National Assembly who have turned you into God. Senator Ndume is your best friend. Listen to him. There is danger ahead. You must enforce discipline as a leader. Your new disciple, Yeson Wike, has publicly disrespected you in the Fubara matter. You need to sanction him now before he throws Nigeria into court. So, when he put out this message out, suddenly all hell let loose. The Reno Omokiri responded to him. Emir Saddam said, God bless you, sir. Posterity will remember you. Nigeria is in trouble, and drug seems to be on overdose of flowers. Now, this is a screenshot of the video from Bello, the guy that I just had the interview with, so that you guys are making the connection. Now, one of the reasons why I invited him, because of the type of content he pushed out there. And in all these things, suddenly, Reno Omokiri jumped into the fray. And in jumping into the fray, Doyin Okupke also joined. So as that then happened, this is now the next message is his reply to Reno Omokiri, because Reno Omokiri was railing out statistics and all whatnot, right? And he replied him and said, I have just read Reno Omokiri's response to my earlier article titled Urgent Message for President Muhammad. Since I'm not a fan of fake economic theories that bear no positive impact on society and the citizens, I won't waste readers' time on trading words with Reno. I'll only make the following observations. So he was now addressing Reno. What happens to my brother Reno that he feels he must defend many of the most atrocious policies of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Tinubu's government, I believe Reno is too brilliant to waste his talent on a government that can't even defend itself in good conscience. On this first sentence, I agree totally. Now he now questions Reno. When did Reno become a born again Tinubuist? That he has forcefully taken over the job of Jure Ngarare and Bayo Ononuga combined. Otherwise, he would have known the difference between economics and economy. Economics deals with mainly textbook theories, while the economy deals with the practical and realistic conditions of the people on the day-to-day basis. All the economics rating quoted by Reno have absolute no meaning in Nigeria of today. Blah blah blah. So the whole thing, again, he puts his picture here. Suddenly, from nowhere, Doyin Okupke now responded to him, and he has again Doyin came into that, and he took over Doyin. I'm trying to read all that he said, one after another, at least to give you context to what others, the other people also said. And he took Doyin head on. He said, "My dear Ebon, Dr. Doyin Okukbe, I am more amazed at your flip flop, sir. You are Reno senior in engaging in sophistry since your days as Obasanjo spokesperson in 1999. So you fell out. You have defended almost all government since with your eloquence. I don't think so. He did not work with Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. That's on the sideline. But anyway, we'll continue. I have been consistently in opposition in the last 42 years. Even the Buhari that I supported, regrettably, in 2015, I dumped within 2 months when I saw a total lack of direction, and I have apologized profusely and endlessly to Nigeria. I will never defend useless government policies. There is nothing more we want Nigeria to give us at this age and stage than good leadership. Pronto, I agree, 1,000,000%. You and I met at the London Hilton Metropolis in the dying days of Jonathan government, and you boasted that no Jupiter can defeat Jonathan in an election. We had a bet of $20,000. I beg, make una give me 10%, 20,000 US dollars, and you lost. You begged me for debt forgiveness. This guy's all these adults, I don't even understand. He said he begged me for debt forgiveness just 2 years ago at Transcorp Hilton. So he's telling us that Doyin is owing him $20,000, and Doyin is now begging for debt forgiveness as we beg our international lenders. I am sure you must have persuaded the gentleman that since economists rate Nigerian very high, he can never be defeated. Obviously, referring to Goodluck Jonathan. But you forget that a government must never relies solely on theoretical economic indices. It must be balanced with real and practical economy. About 2 months ago, President William Ruto of Kenya was given royal welcome to the White House in Washington, D.C. Today, he is being treated like a pariah in his own country. Heaps of praises from Western world cannot guarantee a self-economy. Pronto, another point made. You later worked on the presidential bid on the Senate President Dr. Saraki before ending up with Governor Peter Obi. I won't bother about the outcome. Like Reno, I acknowledge your brilliance, but only both of you know why Tinubu. It's it's your sudden idol. Many Nigerians who have grammatars in between their skulls are actually asking the same question: Why is these two men who are not in his party, who never worked for him, why do they suddenly want to praise him to high heavens? Right? So I don't know what you think, but I think I found these, exchanges between these two, between these men. I found it really, really sort of interesting to watch, or rather to read. I found it a very interesting read, to be honest with you. And as I read that more, as I read Reno's engagement, I think, let me see. Anyway, there is no need to pull up Reno's, there is no need to pull it up. I'll end this stream so that I don't waste much time. I'll end this stream with the following. And I will say, happy birthday to His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, who today turned 63. If it was to be in the civil service, Peter is still not yet ripe for retirement, because people, I think the retirement age is 65. Now, yesterday, to show you the revolution that is ongoing in Nigeria. Now, every time Peter Obi has birthday, people use his birthday to go visit orphanage homes. One man went to the mall. I see you've joined. I'll bring you in. So people use the opportunity to go, into orphanage homes and basically, do good things to less privileged people and all whatnot. It's indeed a very good sight to behold. A man who tells people not to celebrate his birthday and that it is better to go to the motherless and less privileged and give those arms. On that note, I'll bring you in. One man went to the mall. You're welcome to the stream.
Oh, thank you for having me, Mazi. Where are you?
I'm in any part of the world. I think I'm in your part of the world anyway.
All right. Okay. It's very difficult to tell from the backdrop. How are you handling the sweltering heat?
Well, we are used to it. That's how we were born, and we grew up in it.
What do you mean how you were born? You get heat for that your red sands place. Where heat there for your side? You no get heat now.
No, why they talk now? It's day now.
I tried to follow your conversation with your guest. I'm assuming it's one of these Twitter personalities. Those sort of I'm not quite forgive me, not quite conversant with his work.
Well, you can follow him and Google. You can look him up on Twitter. His name is Bello. He's just a one-man show who creates, in my view, intelligent 1-minute content to.
He sounded like an anarchist.
Why would you say that?
Huh?
Why would you say that?
Well, I don't know. Just the snippets of what I heard.
No.
Anybody protesting is an anarchist, as far as I'm concerned.
That's.
Are you part of the protest, by the way? Are you in that space?
Protest. I mean, the younger ones are protesting. Let them do whatever they want. So, my job is to ensure that no destruction. If they seek my opinion, I'll tell them not to destroy anything, because
they're almost certain to. We've not yet had a protest that's not spiraled into destruction.
Well, whenever destructions happen in Nigeria, that means government has begun to intervene. Government actually is the reason why destructions happen. If you mobilize the police, the security agents to stand and protect the protesters, nothing of such will happen.
A lot of people actually see it as a protest against a lost election rather than anything else, and that's how I see it as well. By the way, a protest against a lost election.
You see, that's one of the areas I think that I wouldn't want to use some foul language on those who think like that, and I will explain to you. Now, in 2012, the one the one you call your president today.
Pardon me, let me mute for a moment.
Yeah. And actually, since you brought this up, let me quickly pull this up here. Let me
sorry, yes. The structures organizing this protest is the Showre space and the obedient space.
No, that's
essentially
not
active political gladiators. So people that are still smarting from a lost election, essentially.
That's actually, it is very unfair that people like you may sit in your comfort home in the diaspora.
God, don't personalize it now. Keep it to the topic.
Hold on, I'm coming. That some of us will sit in our comfort homes. If you listen to the young man today, he was talking about a Kano that people are eating grass because as a result of not having something to eat. And the president has acknowledged that much by saying they were going to remove for 90 days duties on food items like rice and grains for people to put that into the country in order to feed the people as a short-term measure. He has actually acknowledged that by pushing trailers of grains and into states, right? So if he has acknowledged such, it is not very wise, in my view, to say that those who are actually protesting is as a result of those who lost the election. If you come onto the social media space, many of those who actually cry out on my Twitter every day, I do every single day. Honestly, I get a minimum of 3 to 5 people asking for help every single day. I haven't used my Facebook inbox for a very long time. That is just basically unbelievable. Now, these are people who can no longer survive and they are looking at someone to help, right? So if you look at that, it means something is wrong. In the Southwest, for instance, that is your jurisdiction. How do you then feel when people who clearly voted for this president are now saying it's not about who we voted, but we are hungry? They are Nigerians. If you reduce their expression of anger, expression of their disdain to party voting, that's not too very smart, if you ask me.
No, that's
and
not
again,
what I'm going to do.
No, because that's what you are alluding to. And now because you said Obi and Sowore, and again,
can I come in for a microsecond? That wasn't what I was alluding to. So I'm not trying to diminish what the situation in Nigeria. So I'm not trying to diminish that. And if the demonstration, the protest, and whatever, if it is as a consequence of that, then it is a legitimate protest. So it's a legitimate protest.
That means you didn't hear what the young man said.
No, I wasn't especially. I'm not in this space. I'm more in the space of the protest. So the spaces that I'm seeing agitating for this protest are the Showore space, which has come up with a list of demand, change the constitution, 250 minimum wage, releasing Nandeka. So unattainable, pie in the sky nonsense it is. So that is to tell you then that they're hell-bent on anarchy and they're not really after anything of substance. And then, of course, the obedient space as well, who have been agitating for a rage since they lost the election. So they'll leverage that thing as well. So it's a political protest, right? It's protest for lost elections rather than.
So what was Tinubu protesting when he was calling for revolution?
That was a political protest similar to this one that's about to happen.
So, he all the time in 2012, in 2013, it was never about Nigeria. It was about, his political ambition,
as is now as well. So that's
that is where you miss it all.
The penny finally dropped.
This is where you miss it all, because you call the obedient and you keep trying to drag Peter Obi into it. Whereas
no, forget Peter Obi. I'm talking about more. Anyway, you make yours. Let me come after you.
No, because you see, if when you say political protest, here is a man, a politician who is actively involved and in financing of protest, right? You remember who financed the Ojota rally of 2012? We are all still adults. So if there is no living Nigerian now that contested, from the three main contestants of the last election, there is no living Nigerian of these three individuals or four that has ever mentioned protest. Not Kwankwaso, not Peter Obi, not Atiku. So if these people,
Peter Obi has made inferences towards it.
How?
When it was in the Kenyan example and tying it to the Nigerian situation.
Of course, I mean, if you're saying that,
whistle,
of course you're saying no. I think you're smarter than this. If somebody is saying that this is what is happening in Kenya, I am asking our leaders, because when Kenya started, they said this. You guys are earning too much. You guys are doing this, and it's common sense. It's commonsensical inversion to say, well, if these guys are doing this as a result of what their political class is doing, and somebody say, please, our own political class, let's watch it. I mean, it's just like what Kwankwaso said. Kwankwaso is saying, you are my friend. You and I are not Tinubu's friend. So whatever we said goes like this. But someone who is his friend, who eats with him, who dines, who comes into his own sitting room and sits down, has his number. Do I have Tinubu's number, or do you? But if someone who calls him a friend says, Oga, what I hear, it appears that people are not entirely happy with your government. Honestly, how can you call that, political talk or political statement? I don't know. I don't know. One thing I always want to tell us, and you've known this for a very long time. We can talk about politics, we can talk about anything, but when it comes to issues concerning Nigeria, I think we should do less with ethnic biases. Because in this case,
all right, Marcy, I have to bounce only because I've got something important coming up in about half an hour or so. But I'll hold this conversation in abeyance, and when you're having your Friday hangout next week, I'll join you, and then we'll expand on this. But thank you for having me.
Anytime. Thank you very much. So thank you once more. This is Mazes. Okay, this is my Friday hangout. You see, it is easy to always tell people do not protest. But here we have I call him the protester in chief, who led finance protests in Nigeria suddenly, and to protest is now a haram. We have someone like this pastor here who tells his, I don't know, congregations that he drinks tea with God, that his wife drinks one, he drinks two, the third one, God has already drank it. The one who created heaven and earth and has all the tea and all the river, ocean, sugar, whatever, suddenly come and drink the bottom of a tea. Come on. I know they even rate God self. But anyway, they all lost their voices now, and hunger is not wiring Nigerians enough, right? It's this is what we hear from those so-called reps in the National Assembly, representing the people's interest. When you hear something like this, sometimes you feel like crying for Nigeria.
For every organization that is organizing protest is definitely undermining the peace and unity of our dear country. DSSS must work hard to find if they can at least be able to scout and get those people that are instigating or the leaders of these protests.
Well, they are looking for the leaders of this protest. Honestly, sitting down listening to the garbage, there is no better word that I can use on these two human beings, Homo sapiens, if I may borrow that. Listening to them, you kind of feel so angry that you say, well, I don't know. They have people they represent. If you feel so happy that they are representing you and talking this garbage, I call what they spewed now as garbage. You could clap for them, or you can also go and send them some flowers just for nice job they've done representing you. I encourage you just go and send them flowers for a job well done, talking and speaking your mind at the National Assembly. That's what it is. And you have here many of you called him Efulefu. He's telling Nigerians that do not protest. I'm like, why all of a sudden protesting that is your fundamental human right, the right to air your views in large numbers, walk on the street, and everybody is now advising young Nigerians not to, protest. Whereas some are saying, please do not join us. Some people should not join the protest. Again, however you look at it, right? These were those who they weren't protesting, but I don't know what this is. Look at them. Look at all of them. This is Oyegun here, former uh, uh, APC national chairman, and there on his left is the former President Muhammadu Buhari, the one who wasted Nigerians' time for 8 years. Wasted our time for 8 years, right? And this is what they do. And here we are. They're already talking. They're already talking. Oh, don't do this or do this. Oh, don't do this or do this. It's all right. He go do everybody, whether you protest or you no protest. All of them are in Abuja telling you do not protest. All of them, none of them saying you should protest. All of them saying you whether you should protest or you shouldn't protest. They do not go home. Oh. So when you're listening to them, and what has been happening actually, if you look at this here, for instance, this is the protester in chief telling, in fact, everybody, if you're ever going to go out to protest, you should print this because this is a direct order from your president. 11 years ago, he told you, police do not attack protesters. Your children are involved. Your lives are involved. Your children's future lies here. So this is the man telling you, this is Bola Tinubu. In 2013, this was what he was saying, telling Nigerian police not to shoot, not to attack protesters. So, but today they are threatening everybody. Or if you protest, or this will happen. But again, if you listen to Senator Shehu Sani when he said this, it will also help you understand more context.
There were young people who were protesting for justice, for freedom, and for democracy. Any young protester in Nigeria today learned from you because you were the father of protest in Nigeria.
In fact, you guys, if you're coming out to protest, or for those of you who wish to protest, put this in MP3. Print those things that he said and come out to be playing it. If those of you who want to go to the 3-arm zone in Abuja to protest, bring loudspeaker. Make sure that from the place you're blasting it, that he can hear that from the Aso in the rock, that he can also hear it. Yeah, because this is what Sani said.
Do something about it. Give them the freedom. You taught us, you funded us to stand up and fight. So they are your children and your grandchildren. Give them the pardon. Thank you and God bless.
Senator Shehu Sani, they're saying it as it is. You funded them. You funded them when it mattered. When you basically wanted to have things your way. Now, protesting is haram. I mean, come on now. Huh? Let's look at the updates on Nigeria protests, right? Planned protest. So let's see what is the latest on Nigeria protest, right? So before now, I've been hearing about 29th. Now we hear about 1st. We hear about 2nd. Whatever it is, you can see so many people are saying different things. Some are saying they should occupy Ojota, like this year says August 2nd for another protest for all students denied from serving in Nigeria. Jam get prepared to receive them. Now, wow. People are saying October will be month of protest. This one says rights, citizens' right must be protected. So no matter what, what we now breaking that we federal government is imposing 220 million, sorry, 220 million. Jesus Christ, is a 220 million penalty on Facebook. Okay. So people, you look at that, you see, it go happen. These are Kenyan youths doing whatever. I mean, honestly, I stand nowhere. All I want is whatever the Nigerian youth think is the right thing to do, for them to get their voices heard. Let them go ahead and do it. If it is protest, go ahead and protest. If it is rage, go ahead and shout. But please, 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 let the protest be peaceful. You know, do not do what they did in days, in years back. If the protest can be peaceful, so that they don't hold you, so that they will hold, will not hold you to account. Now, and this is another video where that came out earlier today. Now, Sheon Kuti was seen here saying that civil servants should join protest. Listen to it.
The last one I want to talk for this live. Shame on Nigerian workers. I repeat, our papa, these fathers, we, the fathers and mothers, shame on all of you. Shame on all the civil servants. How many times we, the children of this country, are protesting, fighting NSAS. Now the children are still organizing again to go and protest on the streets to lay their life. About women protested. Right? Enugu coal miners protested. Abeokuta women protested. Right? Nothing really changed, but it was the beginning of something. Those protests, what did they really do? They inspired the civil service, the working class. The Nigerian Labor Union was founded under Mike Momodu, the late Pa Mike Momodu, based on the energies of this protest, seeing that their people cannot survive. They used to call it in Kola that time, cost of living allowance. That was the beginning when these workers can't join their people to increase the cost, increase the cost of living allowance. That was the beginning of the struggle against colonialism.
Anyway, whatever it is, people, that's the much I can take. You know, people do what they do. People have their opinion, but I think honestly, no one should be cowed. We should not allow anyone cow you for doing that which you think is right for you. Again, when they promised Nigerians that they were going to, because where people are now, it's a question of what are we going to do? Should the people protest? Obviously, the one who is, he will say no. But I mean, what else can you do? But we know that things are like Sapele Road. We know if it go back. We know.
5 days it is Sapele Road. I know go back. I know go front. I know Giri to go back. I know Giri to come. The road you don't support. The people ask, I know Giri to open the road. While I tuma, no back, no foot, no.
That's where the whole thing is just basically so crazy. We are, I don't know. Some people will say we are just hitting up the pole. I don't know, but honestly, I don't know how else to say. I wouldn't want to hit the polity, hit up the polity, but I don't know what else to say. If last Christmas I bought bag of rice between 45 and 47 for 50 kg, even saying that it's too costly. Before, when I used to buy from Postari's, couple of bags that I would distribute during the Christmas, you pay, less. I think the last time I bought, I don't know, either 22,000 or thereabout. So thing just skyrocketed. But now over 100,000. So who can you give 100? I mean, how much do you earn to give someone one bag of rice, or many people 50 kgs? You may have to go back to 10 kg of 20, 25. I don't know, but when I say it's crazy, it's indeed crazy, right? But when we talk, the only thing can
It's okay.
But let me explain.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Let me explain.
It's okay.
Now.
It's okay.
You must not allow the two
It's
to
okay.
the budget every
It's
year.
okay.
Off your mic. I will off my mic. What can I do? When the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria told you that he was going to take us from top to bottom, then we didn't know that we were top. During the time of Goodluck Jonathan flying to America with $20, still you haven't spent $3 million, $20,000. You haven't spent 20 million. Sorry, 3 million, just 3 million. That is now $2,000. Even less than $2,000, 20,000. But now you told us we are going to go from top to
ABC, Nigeria, from top to bottom.
From top to bottom, and that's where we are. But when you ask their supporters, what are they going to say? They will start equivocating. They won't.
Today, I want to declare without
They cannot do. I don't know what to say again. Oh no, young man, tell me.
If Nigeria not speaker, then this country need a voice. President don't win, but why nobody they rejoice? Homo, all are fighting and protesting, don't be noise. We have the right to vote, but who go win is still their choice. What the fuck? We no want talk, we them no jealous. The media's go listing. If only you don't the famous, we don't turn game of chess. Our leaders them they play us. Peaceful protests, but they still gather as chaos. It's not our fault that all their promises were lies. No light and bad road, but price of where they on the rise. Jeez, just from who said to
Anyway, people, there isn't much I can say this night. I say, sleep well, good night. And I am still Mazi. It's okay. Join me next upper week, Sunday, 7 p.m. for my State of the Igbo Nation conversation. I'll be having Senator Ekunife, who is the Uche Ekunife, who is the DG Southeast Governors Forum. There are important informations that we need to discuss on this platform. Until then, stay blessed, my people. Bye.